I'm sure you've all heard of liminal games, repetitive projects that all feel almost identical to the most famous example of this genre, the Backrooms. However, there is still one game in this world that brings something new to the table. Ludo makes you reflect on your own life and scares you not with typical jump scares and monsters, but with reality itself. The very reality we try to hide behind the shadow of a sweet illusion. The main character's name is Sam, and the narrator in the background describes how he is being buried underneath a layer of sand. Sam lives in his house and, as always, is getting ready to go to work, but something strange is always happening in the background. Something in the basement is making unsettling noises. Sam pays no attention to it and quickly runs off to work, and so it goes, day after day. However, on a Wednesday, Sam finally goes down into the basement, but there he finds only Spanish vocabulary flashcards, cards his mother used to use to teach him Spanish. Still, Sam is haunted by the equals symbol, which, for some unknown reason, appears on every single card. On Thursday, the phone rings again. A stranger on the other end asks whether Sam can hear those sounds and begs him not to let him reach Sam again. The narrator, meanwhile, tells us that the call was tactless and that it isn't worth dwelling on, because there is still so much to do ahead. But curiosity leads Sam into the basement once again, where we are given the choice of whether to go down or not. As Sam descends farther and farther, he enters different rooms. At one point, we can notice a room where several figures seem to be standing in robes. Elsewhere, one door is locked from the other side. Behind another one, we can hear an ambulance, and behind the last one, there is a monkey with a number on it. Sam finds a sketch drawing that will later become an important clue. We also often come across notes containing dialogue between Sam and someone else, most likely his brother. By solving the puzzle, we are eventually able to dial the number 555-1725 on the phone. The same voice answers, the same one we heard before, and it says that we have passed some kind of test and that this is a good sign. However, as we continue forward, he will try to deceive us, just like before. A door opens on the left, and as we move deeper into the basement of the house, we find our bathroom again. But the glass is shattered, and there's a note from Mother nearby. She writes that Father used to continue communicating with them through the same sticky notes. Suddenly, as we keep walking, a sheet falls in the hallway and a coin drops out, almost like something from Mario. But before we can reach it, a hooded figure grabs us, and we fall into the darkness, where the same equal symbol can be seen. Unexpectedly, we find ourselves in some sort of cave where a growling sound can be heard. Once we get outside, we end up in the same desert from the beginning of the game. Sam feels relieved because every nightmare ends in this place. Once again, we return to our house, back to the beginning. On a small table nearby, we can find a sort of script describing Sam's days, as if they have been repeating over and over. But for Friday, it says that he should go into the room. After doing so, Sam feels that this is not his room, and that something is wrong here. By pinning the missing picture we found earlier onto the board and later placing the second monkey onto the bed next to the one already lying there, we notice that they suddenly disappear, and a game of hide-and-seek begins, after which we all get locked in. After playing with the monkey and taking the eye, things begin to glitch, and as soon as we step into the hallway, night suddenly falls. Someone knocks on the door, and Sam finds a flashlight. After taking a key from inside the wall behind a painting, we open a small chest nearby and take out a door, after which the front door disappears. The hallway begins to resemble caves mixed with concrete walls. We end up in the same basement as before, and we hear the phone ring again. The voice laughs at Sam, asking if he thinks this is all just a nightmare. From now on, it is no longer a test. We have to go back. At some point, Sam's eyes begin to close, but after finally finding the exit, we see a silhouette. And this triggers a conversation inside Sam's head. He talks about how he lost his brother, Isaac, to cancer. We are returned to the basement, and right in front of the stairs, the narrator abruptly pauses the game, saying no matter what Sam did, it was wrong, and we are thrown out of the game. When we enter the game again, we begin from the start. The staircase into the basement becomes endless, and the light grows dimmer and dimmer. As we jump down, we are told that we should never have come back, and so the game continues. The basement is changed. Sam once again faces a large number of difficult puzzles and receives another phone call. The voice says that we will definitely make it out. Descending even lower, we arrive in a place that appears to be a church filled with photographs, apparently of Sam's family. After getting hit by a jump scare, we ask in the darkness who the narrator really is. And the other voice replies that he is not only a narrator, just as Sam is not only Sam. Darkness returns along with the equal symbol, and we find ourselves in a cave again. But this is still not the end. Returning to the basement and solving another puzzle, we learn that someone has already been here before Sam and had been counting the days. Solving the television puzzle causes us to fall downward, but once again, we end up in the basement. We are locked inside a room, and by counting certain things inside, we open a chest that contains nothing. In one of the places we've already visited, a drawer has opened, and inside are the same monkeys, hanging there, forcing us to play hide and seek with them once again. After playing the game, we find a deflated ball. Going further down, we enter a strange place. As we continue on and pick up a coin, the narrator says that every time Sam gets distracted, the world becomes stranger. Using the valve we found earlier, we descend another staircase and discover what seems to be Joel's faded heart. Then, by arranging the items we've found beneath the paintings, we see the silhouette once more, and another inner dialogue with Sam begins. He says that he dropped out of school to help his family. He wanted to study film in his spare time, but he could not, and in the end, he lost all interest in everything. But the conversation is cut short, and we see a passageway. Once again, the house, the bathroom, a new cycle. But when Sam turns around, he finds himself inside what seems to be memories. After the earlier dialogue, which turns out to have been a conversation with a psychotherapist, it may seem that all of this is simply Sam's therapy, memories mixed with fantasies. Finally finding an exit, we step into an open space. Water is everywhere, and in the distance, there's a hooded figure. Passing through an opening, we arrive in the house. There is a note from Sam's mother on the door. She says that Sam had put a box full of his scripts out to be thrown away, but that she would like to keep them. A jump scare throws us into yet another internal dialogue. Answering the question of who he is, the narrator says that he has been called many things: a ghost, a monster, a god, and names that human beings cannot even understand. Once again, the equal symbol appears here. Once again, the desert returns, and we see a ghost whose gaze seems full of resentment. When we enter a hallway, the narrator says that Sam was never supposed to see all of this, and that he's sorry. The new location looks as though some sort of filming has just taken place there. The narrator says that it is very easy to become obsessed when trying to solve a mystery, but discovering the truth itself is extremely difficult. And that truth has many faces, some of which we may not like at all. There are all kinds of drawings everywhere, frightening and otherwise, and the narrator says that sometimes it's better to live in an illusion than to find out what's really hiding behind the curtain. Using a key, we open a door, and with the help of a clue, if we keep pressing on this white door long enough, it opens even without a key. Inside, we are met by a television with a game on it. We have to guess a word, and if we enter the wrong answer, a figure appears in the background. As we head for the exit, a hooded figure begins following Sam. After getting through the chase sequence, the narrator says that everything has consequences, and that our actions only destroy everything around us. A new level loads, a huge room in which we walk through patches of lamplight. The narrator says that the world is collapsing, and once again, we see the dark figure and hear another internal dialogue. Sam talks about how he and Mr. Button, Sam's dog, became inseparable. He replaced Isaac in Sam's life. By interacting with the radio, a passage into a new level opens. There was nowhere to go because of various boundaries in the code, but the important thing was to find the correct way around them. Returning to the house once more, we can call the same number from the beginning. The voice asks us to find the final spark of light in order to stop the storm. The world around us begins to glitch. As we move through another trigger that cuts off the music, we climb higher up the stairs, but the hatch above is closed and we fall into a blue screen, after which we are kicked back to the menu. By spamming the continue button, we fall into the storm, and then end up in something like Pac-Man. All the coins collected earlier are needed here. We must gather hearts while running away from spiders. After doing this, we seem to return home, but not quite. Instead, we find ourselves in some sort of backstage version of our house. We find a key and head off to work, but we end up in increasingly broken and bizarre rooms filled with messages that look as though they were left by the developers. When we finally reach a staircase, it turns out to be fake, and we have to solve more puzzles. At last, we find the final figure. Another internal dialogue begins. Sam says that he did not call the ambulance at the right moment and that perhaps it's his fault that he did not know how to give first aid. But what terrified him most was that he was there beside his father when he was dying. Ever since then, everything has felt dark, and it seems to him that he needs help. Endless darkness. After reopening the game, we find all the figures in the desert and enter into a dialogue with the narrator. It turns out that by coming here, Sam disturbed one of the narrator's guests. He also says that he is one of the many voices inside our heads. He can be whoever Sam sees him as. All this time, Sam was helping himself, and getting in his own way as well. Once again, the equal symbol appears, and the narrator says that he is here. We come face to face with the truth. Sam acknowledges his real feelings and apologizes. He accepts everything that has happened and returns home, empty. His things are packed, and the time has come to leave. The game is dedicated to the memory of those we have lost and those we have loved. Ludo is a game about pain, loss, and fear. The fear of acknowledging the past, forgiving yourself, and saying goodbye to those who are no longer here. The game tells Sam's story through the 4 stages of his life: the loss of his beloved brother, the loss of interest in everything he once did and loved, the loss of his dog, who had replaced his brother in his heart, and finally, the loss of his father, whose death he witnessed with his own eyes. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and stay close to the people you love. Bye!